Most people spend years trying to change their life: new diets, new routines, new planners, new motivation. But almost nobody asks the question that changes everything: who am I becoming? Hi, my name is Shakayla. I'm an identity based online fitness coach, the creator of MB Fitness Academy, and a mom to an incredible little girl, and the author of a book I'm writing called Becoming. Welcome to my channel. This is a place where we explore the psychology of change, identity, fitness, habits, confidence, discipline, purpose, and personal transformation. My hope is that every video inspires you to think a little differently about who you are and who you have the potential to become. At the end of every video, I'll leave you with one simple question: who are you becoming? That question has completely changed my life. My journey didn't begin in the gym, it didn't begin with a diet, and it didn't begin with a morning routine. It began when I was 9 years old. Like so many kids, I had a dream that felt bigger than me. I wanted to sing, I wanted to dance, and I wanted to entertain people. I remember writing it down, hoping that someone I loved would see it and believe in me. But instead, I was encouraged to choose another, safer option, something more practical. The message wasn't meant to hurt me, but as a child, I interpreted it as maybe my dreams aren't realistic. Maybe who I naturally want to be isn't enough. And looking back, I realized that moment wasn't really about my dream. It was about the story I was starting to tell myself. Without realizing it, I slowly began shaping my life around other people's expectations instead of my own curiosity. I learned to seek approval instead of authenticity. I became more concerned with fitting in than finding out who I really was. And for years, I tried to change my life from the outside in. I chased motivation, new routines, and I promised myself that this time would be different. I tried to become healthier, more disciplined, more confident, and more successful. Sometimes it worked, for a little while anyway. But eventually, I always found myself slipping back into the same patterns. And that's because I was trying to change my behaviors without ever changing the person I believed myself to be. Everything changed when I discovered one simple truth: your behaviors don't create your identity. Your identity creates your behaviors. The person you believe you are determines the choices you make every single day. When your identity changes, your habits begin to change, your standards change, your decisions change. Eventually, your entire life begins to change. That's what becoming is all about. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath the fear, the expectations, and the stories you've carried for years. So, if you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever wondered why change never seems to last, or if you've ever felt like there's a version of you waiting to be discovered, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Let's start with a simple question: why do we do the things we do? Most people would answer because of motivation or because of discipline. But I don't think that's the full story. I believe our behaviors are simply a reflection of who we believe we are. Think about it for a second. Imagine someone who says, I want to work out. They buy new gym clothes, they purchase a gym membership, they feel excited. Maybe they go consistently for about 2 or 3 weeks. Then life gets busy, they miss one workout, then another. Eventually, they stop altogether. Most people look at that and say, I just need more motivation. But what if motivation was never the problem? What if the real issue was identity? Because if that person still sees themselves as someone who always quits, who isn't athletic, who's never been healthy, or someone who struggles with consistency, then every action they take will eventually align with that identity. So here's the truth: behavior follows identity. Your habits don't happen by accident, they are evidence of the person you believe yourself to be. If I believe I'm a runner, going for a run isn't something I have to convince myself to do. It's simply what runners do. If I believe I'm someone who values my health, preparing a nutritious meal doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like I'm acting in alignment with who I am. If I believe I'm a reader, picking up a book isn't a chore, it's part of my identity. Our actions are constantly trying to stay consistent with our self image. That's why lasting change is so difficult when we only focus on behavior. We tell ourselves things like, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., I'm going to stop eating junk food, I'm going to be more confident, I'm going to stop procrastinating. Those are all behaviors. But underneath every behavior is a deeper belief. Who do you believe you are? Because if your identity hasn't changed, your old behaviors will always feel familiar and your new behaviors will always feel uncomfortable. And that's why so many people keep starting over. They're trying to build a new life with an old identity. And for years, that's exactly what I did. I thought that if I found the perfect workout program, the perfect planner, or the perfect morning routine, everything would finally click. But every time I fell off track, I blamed myself. I thought I lacked discipline. I thought I wasn't strong enough. And what I didn't realize was that I was asking my behaviors to become someone my identity hadn't yet accepted. The breakthrough came when I stopped asking, "What should I do?" and started asking a different question: Who do I need to become? And that single question changed everything. Because when you begin changing the way you see yourself, your behaviors no longer feel forced. They become a natural expression of the person you're becoming. Stop chasing outcomes and start becoming the person who naturally creates them. So here's where I think most people get stuck. We've been taught to focus on outcomes. We say things like, I want to lose 30 pounds, I want to make six figures, I want to be more confident, I want to find the perfect relationship, I just want to be happier. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having goals. Goals give us direction, but goals are destinations. They don't tell us who we need to become to get there. Think about it this way. Imagine two people standing at the bottom of a mountain. Both have the exact same goal: to reach the summit. One person focuses only on the top of the mountain. The other focuses on becoming the kind of climber who can reach it. Who do you think is more likely to make it? Of course, the second person, because they understand the outcome is a byproduct of who they've become along the way. The same is true in every area of life. If your goal is to lose weight, don't just ask, "What diet should I follow?" Ask, "What kind of person naturally maintains a healthy body?" Maybe there's someone who respects their body, someone who prepares their meals instead of relying on convenience, someone who exercises because they value their health, not because they hate what they see in the mirror. If your goal is to build wealth, don't just ask, "How do I make more money?" Ask, "What kind of person consistently creates value? What habits do they have? How do they spend their time? What skills have they developed? How do they think when things don't go their way?" If your goal is confidence, don't ask, "How can I feel more confident?" Ask, "What kind of person would naturally carry themselves with confidence?" Because confidence isn't something you magically wake up with. Confidence is built by becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves, someone who does difficult things, and someone who acts even when they're afraid. The outcome of all of that is higher confidence, but the identity comes first. This one shift completely changed how I approach my own life. I stopped asking questions like, "What workouts burns the most calories?" or "How can I stay motivated?" Instead, I started asking, "What would the healthiest version of me do in this moment?" Not the perfect version, the healthiest version, the strongest version, the most authentic version. Little by little, my decisions started to change. And those decisions slowly reshaped my identity because every action you take is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Every workout, every meal, every difficult conversation, every page you read, every promise you keep, and every time you choose courage over comfort, you're reinforcing an identity. And the beautiful thing is this: you don't have to become that person overnight. You simply have to make decisions that are consistent with the person you're becoming. Your life changes one decision at a time, but those decisions become easier when they're rooted in identity instead of obligation. So the next time you set a goal, don't stop at asking, "What do I want?" Ask yourself a more powerful question: Who is the kind of person that naturally creates this outcome? Because when you become that person, the outcomes begin to take care of themselves. So, what is becoming? It's a question I've spent years wrestling with. Who am I? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why do some people seem to transform their lives while others stay stuck? And can people truly change? The more I study psychology, human behavior, habits, and identity, the more I realize something profound. We are all becoming something, whether we realize it or not. Every thought we believe, every habit we repeat, every environment we stay in, and every conversation we have, they are all shaping the person we're becoming. The question isn't whether you're becoming someone. The question is, who are you becoming? That's the heart of this philosophy. For most of my life, I believed becoming meant turning into someone I wasn't. I thought I needed to be more confident, more disciplined, more successful, and more accomplished. I spent years chasing a version of myself that always felt just out of reach, but eventually I realized something that changed everything for me. Becoming isn't about creating a brand new person. It's about uncovering the person you've always been beneath the fear, the self-doubt, the expectations, and the stories you've carried for years. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped asking what we truly wanted, and we started asking what would make other people proud. And we learned to fit in instead of standing out, to seek approval instead of authenticity, and little by little, we drifted away from ourselves. Becoming is about finding your way back. It's about choosing authenticity over approval, growth over comfort, and purpose over fear. It's about deciding that your past doesn't have to dictate your future, and that your mistakes don't define your identity, and that you are not trapped by the labels you've given or the stories you believed about yourself. Every day, you have an opportunity to cast another vote for the person you want to become, not through perfection or giant life-changing moments, but through small decisions made consistently over time. That's why fitness is a part of this philosophy. It's not about having the perfect body. It's just because every workout is going to be an opportunity to become someone who keeps promises to themselves. And that's why habits matter. It's because your daily habits are going to shape your identity. And also, that's why confidence matters. It's because confident people are often fearless. I mean, who doesn't want to be confident? And confidence grows every time you choose courage over comfort. Everything is connected. Your identity will always influence your behavior, and likewise, your behavior will create your habits, and your habits will shape your life. And your life becomes the story you tell yourself about who you are. This book I'm writing, this channel I've created, and this community all exist for one reason: to remind you that transformation is possible. Not because you'll wake up tomorrow as a completely different person, but because every single day you have the opportunity to become a little more aligned with the person you were created to be. And if you've ever felt stuck, or you've ever felt like there's more inside of you, or if you've ever wondered whether it's too late to change, I want you to know something. It isn't. Your story isn't over. This chapter doesn't have to define the rest of your life. Today, you get to choose again and take one step closer to the person you're becoming. And that's what becoming is all about. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's video, it's this: you don't change your life by chasing better habits. You change your life by becoming the kind of person those habits naturally belong to. Your identity is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. You don't have to have everything figured out today or become a completely different person overnight. Real transformation happens one decision at a time, one promise kept at a time, one courageous step at a time. So before you click away, I want to leave you with the same question I'll ask at the end of every video on this channel. Who are you becoming? I don't want your biggest goal. I don't want your New Year's resolution. I want to know who you're choosing to become. Share your answer in the comments below. I'll be reading them, and I'd love for this community to encourage one another on this journey. If this video challenged the way you think about change, give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share it with more people who need this message. If you know someone who's been struggling to stay consistent, send them this video. It might be the perspective they need. And if you're ready to explore the psychology of identity, build lasting habits, transform your fitness, and become the person you were always capable of being, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. This isn't just another self-improvement channel. This is a community of people choosing to live intentionally, a community of people committed to becoming. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.